So here we are on Walden Pond. That's Walden right there. It's all covered in snow, but it is Walden Pond. I've been walking on the trail that goes the circumference of the pond. This is the trail that Henry David Thoreau used to walk. It's kind of surreal to finally be here after all these years of having read his book, thought a lot about it. Probably the single book that has influenced my life and the way I think about things more than any other. It's kind of crazy to be here for the first time finally. Squatting down here, this area is labeled as Thoreau's Cove. Directly behind me is the Wyman Meadow, which is apparently a bit of a wetland. So it's I'm almost to his house, to his little cottage or shack or whatever it is. But I believe I remember him talking about this cove in the book in Walden. So keep going here and see if we can get to his residence. Other trails. It's very cold today. I'm bundled up, ski pants, boots, down jacket, hat, sweatshirt, hoodie pulled up. There we go, house site. That's another view. Alright, so here it is. This is the site of Thoreau's cabin. Nothing here, of course. You know, when he built it, it was just a kind of slapped together kind of thing. He got the wood secondhand. He dug it into the side. He said to kind of the side of the hill, but I don't really see much of a side of a hill here. Oh, it's amazing. You know. Of course, it's just a piece of land in the middle of woods with just some lake, but special place. So I kind of wanted to read this for myself while I was here. All poets and heroes, like Memnon, are the children of Aurora, and emit their music at sunrise. To him, whose elastic and vigorous thought keeps pace with the sun, the day is a perpetual morning. It matters not what the clocks say, or the attitudes and labors of men. Morning is when I am awake and there is a dawn in me. Moral reform is the effort to throw off sleep. Why is it that men give so poor an account of their day if they have not been slumbering? They are not such poor calculators. If they had not been overcome with drowsiness, they would have performed something. The millions are awake enough for physical labor, but only 1 in a million is awake enough for effective intellectual exertion. Only 1 in 100 millions to a poetic or divine life. To be awake is to be alive. I have never yet met a man who was quite awake. How could I have looked him in the face? We must learn to reawaken and keep ourselves awake, not by mechanical aids, but by an infinite expectation of the dawn, which does not forsake us in our soundest sleep. I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life by a conscious endeavor. It is something to be able to paint a particular picture, or to carve a statue, or so make a few objects beautiful. But it is far more glorious to carve and paint the very atmosphere and medium through which we look, which morally we can do, to affect the quality of the day. That is the highest of arts. Every man is tasked to make his life, even in its details, worthy of the contemplation of his most elevated and critical hour. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, to see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not a life. Living is so dear. Nor did I wish to practice resignation, unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put out all that was not life, to cut a broad swath and shave close, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms, and if it proved to be mean, why then to get the whole genuine meanness of it. Publish its meanness to the world, or, if it were sublime, to know it by experience, and to be able to give a true account of it in my next excursion. Right by Thoreau's homestead. There's a little hilltop right near it, overlooking the lake. So that's where we are right now, or the pond, I guess. We're looking at the pond. And I just wanted to share this other. This is from the conclusion of Walden, and it's one of my other favorite passages. I left the woods for as good a reason as I went there. Perhaps it seemed to me that I had several more lives to live, and could not spare any more time for this one. It is remarkable how easily and insensibly we fall into a particular route, and make a beaten track for ourselves. I had not lived there a week before my feet were a path from my door to the pond side, and though it is 5 or 6 years since I trod it, it is still quite distinct. It is true, I fear, that others may have fallen into it, and so helped to keep it open. The surface of the earth is soft and impressible by the feet of men, and so with the paths which the mind travels. How worn and dusty then must be the highways of the world, how deep the ruts of tradition and conformity. I did not wish to take a cabin passage, but rather to go before the mast and on the deck of the world, for there I could best see the moonlight amid the mountains. I do not wish to go below now. I learned this, at least by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams, and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. He will put some things behind and will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him, or the old laws will be expanded and interpreted in favor in a more liberal sense, and he will live with it the license of a higher order of beings. In proportion that he simplifies his life, the laws of the universe will appear less complex, and solitude will not be solitude, nor poverty poverty, nor weakness weakness. If you have built castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now put foundations under them. Now I'm on the other side of the pond, roughly right now, from where Thoreau had his little cabin, and I can see, or feel, why he was on that side of the pond. This side of the pond, the side he was on, is nicely sheltered from the wind. And I just rounded this corner around this cove, and the wind just picked up. It's blowing hard. Yeah. Beautiful day though. God, it's beautiful. Clear skies. Oh. Trail is pretty good. I keep slipping a little bit, but it's pretty good. What a beautiful day. I kind of wish I had snowshoes now though. This is true New England winter. Just gorgeous. All this fresh powdered snow.